I think Batman and the Joker are like old people, stiff and contrary. I read in this good story that, hey, are you cooking chops? Seriously? We are not running a kitchen, Dartasia.
Oh, wow. This really sucks. Like, all you people who are here tonight. Shout out to my crew, my girlies, Brit Brat, Spider Bomb, Bebop, Butterfur, and Virgin Karen. 2 cheers for all the tears of my manservants. They sort of can smile and always get me the sugar packet. They're like property of mine.
There's an accepted way to plan for puberty. You yell weird things and then have to get your comics together. But as you're reading the good comics, a guy can reproduce by fire. Think about it. Blue Grace, Metaform. If they can't do it, how come I read about it?
We ladies know how a player is, but when they go hello, we go hey.
I want to list a few words that sound like real words, but aren't real. Hondish, caudal sip, ubilicant, respeciment, complectogram. These words ought to mean something. Tolingus. That sounds nasty. Do not be fooled by the title. Wee World is definitely not a kid-friendly show. I discovered this the hard way. Sorry, Gracie. Yo, we don't need those awful brown stains. There are bunnies in the sky and you and I just can't feel them.
Sometimes people that like to smoke the pot use an Etch-a-Sketch. As you know, I'm tied to one of those people.
See, I'm wearing my 3 hemp bracelets and just rapping at you. Fun times, right? Kind of like the other day I threw a rock at a beaver's nest and I am so buzzed. Oh my gosh, y'all have to go back home and see the kitty.
Yes. You know, there's only one person who I believe can drink koala venom and pass the Neverland test. And that's our friend, Hickory Nick.
Hickory Nick also says that we have gluten face and nature danger, yet Tommy from Radical Paintball has got more science, according to Dr. Ratcheek.
Let's go.
You know I got my mayonnaise up on your face. Your side-by shoes at the mall.
I can't drink when the guy that brings the water for everyone got all his clothes at the dump. Whoa.
I love these decorations, actually. Oh my goodness, is that a bonsai? 'Cause bonsai are barely interesting. Karate Kid, that's where I first heard of them.
Bald-headed.
Ladies, if you're trying to seduce Donald Trump, then you have to get some Botox and dogs. You will need both things to get any of the daddy action.
Feed the trombone.
You know who ought to run this country? Easy, it's that girl Khaleesi. I saw her on the TV.
I would like to report a dragon or two.
Charmander. Hey, remember that time when I was president? How could you not? All that time I had sparklers in a keg. They were out in the woods near the dumping area.
You all should just go home and leave. It's getting a little nuts at this point. So many thoughts run through my head. Like, who is this and who is that chump and what's that and okay enough and all the kids are nuts and those dogs are spicy and this lectern is not a mountain. I'm gonna sing you guys something. It's a song about moles. It's a song about a harebrained stranger. It's not about 3-ways. It is a song about all of the things that the pizza guy expects to sell to my son, but he's nuts.
Unfortunately, I'm here somewhere in America, in a place I'll regret. You know what? This is weird. F this. Oh, baby, yeah. Hey, baby, hum. Whoa! It's beautiful.
It's like the backyard.
Huh? What? Chicken Town.
Every day I worry all day. I was waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Yes, something's waiting in the bushes of love.
Hello guys, and welcome to The Real News with Mark Velchik. Oh man guys, I hope you like that video. It's pretty hilarious. Bad lip reading they also do in the NFL, which is hilarious too, guys. Guys, this week, couple days ago, we had Donald Trump in Florida announcing his run for 2020, and that was good and great, and there was tons of people there. I heard that thousands of people had to be turned away, and it was terrific. Only problem I had with Donald Trump in that was that it sounded like 2016. But I think it's coming down to what he was saying that day was a very good and very durable show. But I think once they find out who he's running against, I believe Donald Trump is going to be more going against whoever the Democrat is. It might be Sleepy Joe Biden or Creepy Joe Biden, or it might be somebody else. But guys, I want to get into, I saw this new story in the Trading Post this past weekend. And it's about WCTV, guys. And let me read it to you guys real quick. It says, the FCC proposed reduction in franchise fees could mean bad news for WCTV, guys. So let me read it to you guys. The proposed legislation fee was being suggested by the FCC would mean a drastic reduction in revenue for WCTV, and community officials are asking that residents speak out against this proposal. John Madding, that works here at WCTV, guys, programming director, recently announced that the FCC is proposing to change the 1984 Cable Act and allow cable operators to reduce the amount of franchise fees paid to local communities, which a lot of it comes to cable access channels like WCTV. And if the legislation is approved, Spectrum could reduce the franchise fee they owe the city by any dollars they say they spend towards caring for the signals, equipment, etc. John Madding said the franchise fees supports WCTV and all the great local programming we provide to the community. So yes, it's my show, it's Joe's show, Roger Polk, paintball show, and walking the blue tip and everything he does, and trivia show, the right and left. Pretty much every show you guys been watching WCTV, any show you guys enjoy could go away, guys. So this is very serious, guys. I lost where I was, but after losing 46% of their funding from Spectrum in the 2007 statewide franchising bill, we cannot afford to allow them to reduce the current franchise fee obligations. So Madding explained that WCTV provides multi-camera production of all high school sporting events. So that's basketball, baseball, every Wadsworth sport. While WCTV is there, guys, to cover it for us. Government meetings. Every time there's a government meeting, WCTV is there to record it for us so we can stay atop of what's going on in our government, in our mayor office, city council, and everything. WCTV also provides studio and equipment for people in the community to create their own programs, like mine, Joe's, and right and left, like I was saying, guys. We have over 200 producers and volunteers who create nearly 2,000 shows each year. He said, we operate solely on the revenue the city takes in from the franchise fee. We simply could not continue operating with any more loss in funding. So Madding also pointed out that since WCTV and other public access channels provide coverage of local government meetings, it allows for transparency to better help citizens monitor their local government in action. This is vital to the health of our local democracy here in Wadsworth, guys. So John, God, this is the plea that John said, and I'm going to come to you guys too with it. Madding urges anyone who wants to continue to receive WCTV programming to send a letter to Ohio Senators Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman, and he gave a link inside the training post. So if you have a training post, go find the story and type it into your computer and sign the petition. But if you don't have a computer, guys, I would say call Senator Sherrod Brown and Rob Portman and say, hey, we do not want this to happen because we want to keep our shows going and keep our WCTV channel going, guys. But right now, guys, this is major important here, guys. So I really encourage everybody to go and talk to Sherrod Brown and Bob Portman about this, guys. Very important. But AOC the other day, I think it was 2 days ago or just yesterday, news travels fast, so sometimes I get confused when this happened. But she has came out in her Instagram again, not talking about what a garbage disposal is. She came and said that our southern border is kind of like concentration camps. So let me play that video for you guys, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about AOC.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border, and that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. And if that doesn't bother you, we can have, okay, whatever. I want to talk to the people that are concerned enough with humanity to say that we should not, that never again means something. And that the fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing. And we need to do something about it. This week, immigrant children were moved to the same internment camps where the Japanese were held in the earlier 20th century. And this is not even about a crisis this is not just about the immigrant communities being held in concentration camps being a crisis. This is a crisis for ourselves. This is a crisis on if America will remain America in its actual principles and values, or if we are losing to an authoritarian and fascist presidency. And so I think that is, I don't use those words lightly. I don't use those words to just throw bombs. I use that word because that is what an administration that creates concentration camps is. A presidency that creates concentration camps is fascist. And it's very difficult to say that.
This is what organizing looks like.
That's right.
This is what building power looks like. This is what changing the country looks like. It's when we choose to show up and occupy the room and talk about the things that matter most, talking about our future. Reverend, you bring up a funny anecdote, and I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working retail, folding clothes for other people to buy. There is nothing wrong with preparing the food that your neighbors will eat. There is nothing wrong with driving the buses that take your family to work.
And there you see, guys. There's that video she made on Instagram. The other part of that video, that's when she went to talk to African Americans and felt like having an accent, just like Hillary Clinton talking about having hot sauce in her pocket when she's talking to African Americans. But I want to talk about the AOC, the concentration camp, and all the junk that she said in that stupid video. My wife said, well, she didn't even know about concentration camps. She didn't even know what a garbage disposal was, so who knows. But the thing that bugged me, a lot of things, one, it's a concentration camp. The Nazis had a concentration camp. The Nazis had about 6 different camps. And the one main thing they had in these concentration camps, the Nazis, was a labor camp. and that these people would have to, the people in the concentration camp would have work, they would have to labor and work hard, and a lot of times without food, without water, and a lot of that stuff. So her saying the southern border is like a concentration camp is hilarious to me, because a lot of the detention centers that these children that she's talking about have soccer fields. They could do Zumba. They have, schools, and they eat 3 times a day. A lot of those children live a lot better than American children do when they go to school or any other part of their life here in America. But let's get into, she says that she was concerned with humanity. But what about the left's stance on abortion? Hillary Clinton was coming out, have late-term abortions, which a lot of the states here in Ohio have late-term abortions. We had this one, I believe one governor said that, if a woman, after she has the baby, we'll keep it comfortable, then if the mother feels like getting rid of the baby, we'll get rid of the baby. Pretty much that's what he said. So I'm kind of confused how she's concerned with humanity when abortion is okay. Here in America, there's people that celebrate, like shout out your abortion on Twitter. And so babies are dying. Regardless if, in my opinion, babies are dying, and they're standing on a mountain of dead babies, worrying about migrant children, which we all should care about migrant children, but we all know a lot of them are unaccompanied minors coming to our country. So yes, they're going to be put away from the adults. So, and then she brought up a lot of immigrant children were moved to the same immigrant camp for the Japanese, which is Fort Sill. But if you look and you do some investigation, you will see that President Obama put some people at the same Fort Sill, but that doesn't matter because that's Obama. And we all know how Obama treated the media, because he couldn't say anything bad about Obama. He was always have Obama in good light. So that's crazy to me too. And she said this is a crisis for America. And if America is going to stay America, and have the actual principles and values of America. And which I thought was funny that she said that, because AOC, Bernie Sanders, and a lot of Democrats are calling themselves Democratic socialists. And they want to bring in a lot of socialism into our country. It's like with Medicare for all and socialized medicine, which is terrible. Socialized medicine is terrible. And I would do some investigation, if you don't believe me, about socialized medicine. They left lies to us about how socialized medicine helps us. But people in Canada, if they pay like $10,000 to $20,000, they can see this private clinic and get a lot more care than instead of waiting. There was a story from Canada. This lady lost both her legs because she was waiting so long to be seen by a doctor. So by the time she was seen by a doctor, her legs were gone, that they had to be taken away. But here in America, if there's something wrong with our legs or something wrong with our health, we can go see a doctor, and then we're not on a waiting list. We're not sitting hours on end in an emergency room to be seen by a doctor, or just a lot of times people in Canada sit for so long waiting for like an emergency doctor or a doctor to see a doctor that a lot of them just go home because they're tired of waiting. So don't give me this, that the left is trying to keep the actual principles and values of America. Remember, let me bring you back, guys, to Donald Trump's State of the Union address. He brought up used the word family in his State of the Union. And Joy Reid lost her dang gone mind for Donald Trump using the word family. And this is what she put out on Twitter. She says, church, family, police, military, the national anthem. Trump is trying to call on all the tropes of the 1950s era, 1950s era's nationalism. The goal of this speech appears to be to can't read my own writing here, that's fine. To be the force of the normalization of Trump on the terms of the bygone era his supporters are nostalgic for. So right there tells me that if you're going to get triggered over Donald Trump using the word family, which they are trying to destroy in America, aren't they? In the left, is trying to destroy America. With me and my wife and my child, we are to the left, very weird, or we're just white nationalists or supremacists, or we're just backwards people. You can see what they're trying to do to the children in our country. They're trying to change that Mother's Day and Father's Day. This last Father's Day, they were throwing a fit. Like, we should not have Father's Day because there's some kids out there that don't have fathers. Well, I don't have a father. My father passed away. So should I go against Father's Day? I don't think so. But the biggest thing is that they're going against Mother's Day. They're going against Father's Day. There's in Canada, they don't want to have Mother's Day or Father's Day cards out there on those holidays, I guess you can call them. So we already see the decimation of the family here in America and across the world. So with her talking about, AOC talking about the crisis, you're trying to keep America with principles and values. We have different values, and me and her, like my principles and values are way different than what the left's principles and values are. They're out to sexualize our children and all the other sick stuff they want to do. But let me get into, and she called our president a fascist president. And I was like, wait a second. I do not believe our president is a fascist or a fascist leader like Hitler would have been, and so on. So I looked up in the dictionary the definition of a fascism. And it says a dictator having complete power. And Donald Trump does not have complete power in this country. If he goes off the rails or goes here, tries to do this or that, there's checks and balances to kind of keep our president in line. So he's not a dictator. I don't see Donald Trump being a dictator. He's trying to help America. He's not, holding down anybody. Then another part of the fascism is the forcibly suppression of the opposition and criticism. Well, let's see here, guys. Before, when Donald Trump announced that he was going to run for president, the media went after him, made fun of him, laughed about it, joked about it, I dare you to run kind of thing. And there's a big giant YouTube video of all these people going after Donald Trump, making fun of him for running for president. But then when he wins the presidency, from the day one of him winning presidency until right now, you can see the media and a lot of other, like media, celebrities, and a lot of them are coming after Donald Trump. And you don't see Donald Trump you see Donald Trump coming out and calling fake news and, calling CNN the enemy of the people. But you don't see what Obama did when he was president to the journalists and so on. Did we guys? Obama used the FBI to spy on journalists. He went after a Fox News journalist. And in that story, what happened in that situation, they went after this journalist, took his phone records from his home, his work. He took his phone records, his email records. They investigated the journalist's parents and colleagues at the Fox News. So you can see Obama went after a lot of journalists. Donald Trump just talks about it pretty much and just comes after him verbally instead of having him arrested or investigated for leaks or trying to find out if there's a leak that comes out against our government or anything. You see Obama going after the journalists and trying to take them in front of trying to bring charges up against them to find out who their source was. But you don't see that here with Donald Trump in the media. And let's think about one more thing that I wanted to bring up, forcibly suppression of opposition and criticism. Let's go back, guys. Let's think, guys, back in 2008, Obama was out campaigning. He was just out walking around, like talking. I don't remember the town he was in, but I do remember that he was walking around talking to people. And Joe the plumber, look up Joe the plumber, guys. Joe the plumber came to Obama because he was on the fence with Obama and I think John McCain. John McCain. And he was like, okay, he was being a good person that should come out and, like, if you have a question about this candidate, you should go see the guy and ask him a question. Ask him what's on your mind. And that's what Joe the plumber did. Joe the plumber asked him about economy, I believe it was. I can't remember what Joe the plumber said. Asked Obama. Obama said, but I do remember Obama saying that when you spread the wealth around, it's good for all people. And that made Obama look bad because a lot of people are like, whoa, what is this? Is this socialism? Or what is this, Obama? And if you guys remember, and look it up because I know you probably could find it, that they went after Joe the plumber. They destroyed his life because him asking Obama a simple question and Obama giving him an answer to look like he was trying to lead us to socialism. And they destroyed Joe the plumber. Joe the plumber's family was destroyed. They figured out where he lived and everything and destroyed Joe the plumber's life just because of him asking a question that made Obama look bad. So I'm really against what AOC was saying about her whole thing about Donald Trump being a fascist and Donald Trump hurting migrants, because we all know a lot of them are brought over here by sex traffickers, and a lot of them are separated because they are not the kids that are found with the adults are not related, so they separate them to figure out what's going on. So I would say, guys, just do more research on what's really going on with the border and everything. And guys, I do want to say again before my show's over, please call Sharon Brown and Rob Portman and talk to them about the FCC and tell them to vote against it and stop it. All right, guys, thanks for watching my show, and you guys have a great week.